Hi, I'm Anna, and I love going on road trips. Car camping is a really fun, affordable way to travel and makes it easier to spend more time outdoors in nature. Also, it's been scientifically proven that spending more time in nature naturally increases your serotonin levels. So, one could argue that car camping is essential for your well-being. Yeah, let's go with that. So today, I'm going to walk you through how I bought Mango, my Honda Element e-camper, and share with you my simple 5-step process I use to buy my car. I hope this will be helpful to you too. But before we get started, a necessary disclaimer. Please keep in mind that you're watching a random 20-something-year-old on the internet, and I cannot be held responsible for any car buying decision you ultimately make. That's on you. Please don't sue. Lawyer fees are criminal. Okay, now let's get started. So Mango is a used 2009 Honda Element EX with real-time 4-wheel drive and an e-camper conversion done by Ursa Minor. However, it's important to note, I bought Mango already converted. The e-camper conversion was paid for and done by a previous owner, along with all the added features like the additional USB and 12-volt charging plugs. All I had to do was meet with the seller, take a test drive, negotiate a fair price after the pre-purchase inspection, and drive away with a clean title in hand. It was the best car buying experience I've ever had. If you're in the market for an already converted Honda Element e-camper, similar to this one, later on in the video I'll share with you all the online resources that I currently know that might help you out. But let's say you want to explore other car camping options. Where do you start? Well, the first thing to do is decide on a car, and this really just comes down to personal preference. If you're watching this from overseas, I am so sorry, I am not familiar with your car market, but hopefully it's similar. Obviously, you can use the car that you already have, but let's say maybe you want to trade or sell the car that you have for one that's more suitable for car camping. That way you have something that you can camp out of and also have something as your daily driver. But there are so many options out there, it can get overwhelming really fast. I swear I am a minimalist in real life and my brain just wants to be a maximalist. There's Toyota RAV4s or Toyota Land Cruisers or Toyota 4Runners or Toyota Priuses. Priuses? Priuses. What is the correct plural form of Prius? I don't know. And then you've got Jeep Wranglers, or you could go with a Subaru Outback or a Subaru Crosstrek. People also like Nissan Xterras and Nissan Pathfinders. We haven't even mentioned the Hondas yet. There's the Honda CR-V or the Honda Pilot, or my personal biased favorite, the Honda Element. And I'm not even going to get into minivans or truck campers or SUVs because we would be here all day. Analysis paralysis is kind of the worst, but I think the best way to beat that is with a super nerdy spreadsheet. So it really helps to narrow your choices down to a list of your top 3 to 5 favorite vehicles. These are just some examples. That way it's easy to compare them side by side. Then just start with some general questions. What's your budget? Are you going to buy new or used? And do you have a brand preference? For example, Toyotas and Hondas tend to be extremely reliable when the vehicle is taken really good care of. And then also maybe consider what the potential resale value might be, just in case you want to sell further down the road, or maybe you'll have to, because as we all know, life happens, circumstances change, and we also change our minds. Next, it's helpful to determine what your top priorities or your non-negotiables are. Does it need to have all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive? Are you going to be traveling with a pet? So does the vehicle need to have temperature control? And then what about music? Because every great road trip starts with a solid playlist, and so on and so forth. And then finally, list any preferences that you care about but aren't necessarily deal breakers. Here's a list of features I came up with off the top of my head as examples. When I started my search, I found it really helpful to just start with really general questions and then work my way down to the specifics, but that's just what worked for me. Step 2, I'm calling work smarter, not harder. It sounds cliche and kind of cheesy, but I swear it makes sense in this case. We just need an analogy. Alright, now this is not me calling you a pea brain. It's just what was in my freezer, okay? Now, imagine this is your brain, alone over here, before you join a community of people. Now, this is you after joining a community with all these other brains, and together you've got a network. Is it common sense? Yes. But you'd be surprised how many people try to figure everything out alone. When it comes to buying a car, especially for car camping, I do recommend looking online for community pages and forums related to the car or cars that you're interested in. For example, I joined community Facebook pages related to Toyota Land Cruisers and Honda Elements, as well as general car camping forums, just to see what was out there, see what other people were doing, ask some questions, get some advice, and I found this to be really helpful. Okay, moving on to step 3. This is the part where you gotta be relentless. This is the fun part, or the most anxiety and stress-inducing part, depending on how you look at it. This is where you're going to sift and search through a stupid, ridiculous number of ads. I started out by keeping my search really broad. I looked on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Car Gurus, Auto Trader, kind of just a little bit everywhere. I wanted to get like a general idea of what Honda Elements were selling for in major cities across the country. This was mostly just to collect data points. I then limited my search mainly to the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest. I also ran a search in Google Maps for used car dealerships near me. I had really low expectations, but when I tried this, I actually found some pretty good hidden gems. But obviously you're going to want to read a lot of reviews and always trust your gut. In the end, I found the best Honda Element ads through a website called Element Driven, as well as the Honda Element Classifieds Facebook group pages. This is how I found Mango. You might even see his old ads still up online, but no, I did not pay full price. This is the part where really good negotiation skills come in, which brings us to step 4. Step 4, do your due diligence. I do not recommend buying sight unseen. I know people do it. I know people in my personal life who have done it and it's turned out just fine. But to me, it just feels risky, like unnecessarily risky. It's kind of like playing Russian roulette with your money. You could just blow it all on a lemon or a lipstick on a pig situation. But you do you. I'm not trying to tell you how to live. It's important to test drive the car. Get your butt in the seat and see how it feels. More importantly, ask yourself, how do you feel driving it? If it's not a hell yeah, maybe you should walk away. There's no need to settle, there's no need to rush, there's no need to jump the gun. I actually test drove 2 or 3 other Honda Elements before Mango even came on the market. One guy completely overpromised and underdelivered. The ad looked immaculate, but the car itself was not. And then there was this other Honda Element that looked really good on paper. Mechanically, it was sound. The vehicle, it ran fine. But when I was driving it, it just didn't feel like mine. I can't explain that. It's not logical. It was just a feeling. And then I ended up with Mango and I was like, that's why that one didn't work out. So I was willing to walk away. In the moment, I was like, Anna, why are you walking away from this perfectly fine Honda Element? And then Mango came into my life. So that's just how that worked. I'm also a hardcore believer in investing in a pre-purchase car inspection, especially for used vehicles. This is where you can get your price negotiation leverage. I feel like spending $100 to $150 on an inspection where you let the professionals look through the vehicle and find anything that you might miss just makes sense. It could save you from making potentially a multi-$1,000 mistake. Also, if you're looking at cars far away from where you live, I highly recommend buying a Carfax report or a Carfax report bundle. Carfax reports will show odometer rollbacks, any minor or major damages or accidents. It'll tell you how many owners there have been, and the history report on maintenance. This is just a really good tool to use. Yeah, it costs a little bit of money, but it would cost way more money to travel, get there, and then find these things out. When it comes to buying and selling cars, the person who's willing to walk away is actually the one with all of the power. This is just human psychology. It's really important to remember that sellers who are trying to list their vehicles are going to list it at a price that they hope to get for it or a price that they really want to get for it. But most of the time they also understand that they might not get their asking price. And then you as the buyer, if you do your due diligence, you do the car purchase inspection, and you, have decent negotiation skills, aka just don't be super desperate. When it came to Mango, after test driving and doing the car inspection, I knew what I had in mind for what I was willing to pay for it, and you kind of just have to friend zone your desires. You have to be willing to walk away. You have to be firm in your stance. I know it can be kind of scary, but in the end, it's going to work out the way that it's meant to. And lastly, the most important step out of all, do not get scammed. For the love of Christmas trees, please watch out for scammers and con artists. If the deal seems too good to be true, it is. Not probably, not maybe, it is. I am all for being an optimist. I am all for spreading the positive love and energy and good vibes and all that. But the truth is that scammers and con artists, they exist. And they prey on people who are not paying attention, and they prey on people who are desperate. Don't be these people. By the way, speaking of scams, I do not have a Telegram. This is a great example of a scam. I will never contact you via any sort of messenger app like WhatsApp or Telegram or any of the other ones. It ain't me, mate. Anyway, this video is coming to a close. If you actually are someone in the market trying to buy a car for the purpose of car camping, I wish you the best of luck. You've got this. I am rooting for you. Just be patient, trust your gut. It's only a matter of time. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, kids. I will catch you in the next one.